So one of the things I want to talk about today was something Ben shared with us about a year ago, and it's called productivity hacks. And I augmented and added just a couple things to it that I got from my coach, David Long, that's with Ward Coaching. And I thought he brought up some great points, but we only have so many hours in the day, and success is guaranteed when we make our priorities and they happen in the right order. It's always something when we don't make those things happen in the right order that we get frustrated and we're not able to succeed in what our priorities are. But as we talked about just a second ago, is everyone gets the same number of minutes in an hour, but what we do with them and how we invest them will determine what you're going to get out of all the hours in your life. Because you always wonder, how does that person get so much done, with theirs? And, I'm struggling to get half of that stuff done. So I think it's timely for all of us, if it's agent, admin, leaders, whatever that is. But one of the things is there's power in clarity. So the first thing we have to determine is exactly what I want to accomplish. And that's making a goal. If it's to have 26 transactions completed between now and the end of the year, if it's to have 15 transactions completed between now and the end of the year, is have that number written down and then start to work backwards from it. And what we're doing there is we're actually putting together our plan as far as if I know I need to go on this many appointments before I get a listing, then I know the amount of appointments I need now. If I know that I have to make this many contacts to get an appointment, I know how many contacts I need to now. And once I do that math, I can actually break it down and I know how many contacts each day I need to make to still accomplish that goal. And now it becomes something where I know what to invest in. It takes a lot of stress off of me because I've got exactly the game plan I need. Now, the other part that's really important is you have to know why you want this. Now, this is a big part of it because without the why, boredom will win. And we've been talking about boredom all week long as far as that consistency, but it's like anything else. I used to drive from Colorado Springs back to my hometown in Anderson, Indiana when I was in the military. It was a 20-hour drive. And you can imagine how boring it was going through Kansas because there's nothing there to do but dodge tumbleweeds as they're blowing across the road. So with that is I had a goal in mind. I knew why I wanted to get home because I wanted to spend time with my family and friends, that I hadn't seen for a while. But yeah, boredom set in, but it was something where I just kept pushing through it and pushing through it. And we do the same thing with our calls that we're making because we know we have to make those phone calls and make those contacts. And actually, as we do it, it enriches our lives. And it's like anything else. As we go up through that journey, it's what we get out of it. Another key step, the third step, is determine what beliefs are needed to accomplish the goal. Because if we set a goal that's not going to be realistic, like we have to make 50 contacts every day to make our goal, well, we're going to dismiss it because we're going to think to ourselves that, well, that goal was never really possible because I couldn't possibly make 50 real estate conversations happen every day. I can make 10, I can make 20 or something of that nature. But then we dismiss it and then it's okay for us to fail is essentially what we're doing. We're actually rubber stamping it. We're going to fail before we even do it. So we have to have our goal that's attainable, but we have to determine, what's our belief system got to be? And then how are we going to accomplish that? Okay. If we don't believe it's attainable, then it's not going to be. And we know from past history as far as what we can accomplish. We also know that we're going to have some discomfort anytime we want to go through and accomplish our goals too. And just working through that discomfort and making certain that we know what's attainable so we can actually make those goals. Now we get into the individual process that Ben shared with us, and that's the power of 60 minutes. One of the things that when you start and end in mind and work backwards, you already have a plan in place because you're going to make it a written plan, but most of the plans place already has done for you, which is great. They've got the scripts for you. They've got the logs for you. They've got Brivity set up. You've got a dialer in Brivity where you can actually make the phone calls. So it's actually pretty much plug and play. We just have to actually put the time in. So having that plan is it's 60 minutes of focus. Doing that daily, it's going to equal 45 full 8-hour work days or 9 full weeks of work. And what we mean by that is for 60 minutes, we're unperturbed. We just focus in and we're just going to make our calls for 60 minutes. Okay. Nothing's going to stop us. We're not going to sit there and stop. We're not going to check Facebook. Oh, we got a message in to see, that I need to pick up groceries on the way home or something of that nature. But we're just totally focused. If it's making those dials in Brivity, then that's what we're doing. If it's going through and updating, no names or addresses or phone numbers, that's what we're doing for 60 minutes. But we have 60 minutes of just focus done. And by doing that, we will sit there and get more accomplished in that than what most people will because they don't do it. The other part is committing, okay? And that's creating lasting changes that in just an hour, if we can commit to the focus. If we can't commit to that focus that we're going to do that for an hour, we are not going to sit there and move that needle that we want to achieve those goals. And remember, these are life hacks or productivity hacks, which if we implement, we're going to become better at what we do. And then after a while, it just becomes the culture. And it's no different than, if we focus 1 hour daily, it should be a foundational piece of our culture. If you guys get up every day, and I don't know if you've ever seen the video about Make Your Bed by the Admiral, which is actually a great little speech, but it talks about, why that builds a culture, but just making the bed where you clean up for just that little focused time. It's a culture. Now your house is clean every day, but it's doing those things, each day to become a culture. And as you do that, then the people around you see the productivity that you're getting out of it and success you're having. They're going to sit there and go right along with it too. So I think it's important also, that we exhibit this not just for ourselves, but we're also helping out our fellow people inside the office there with us. And then our daily plan. Now, this is probably one of the most important, okay, because it starts the night before. And everybody's heard Ben talk about this. I mean, we're actually going to make a decision to take 15 to 20 minutes and decide what has to happen tomorrow for it to be successful. And then we go back through it and we move forward. And what's going to push me back? What's going to get in our way from doing that? Because we're looking at our calendar and saying, okay, what have I got to do tomorrow? But what's the most important thing I need to do to move my productivity forward? And if our production's down, we need to go on appointments. How am I going to get appointments? Okay, I need to door knock. I need to follow up with people. I need to create new lead generation, but something I need to do to make it push forward for me. So we take that 15 minutes and that focus. They say that if you do that, it will increase your productivity 174% in the following day, because you know exactly what you're doing, because you're taking care of the first priority first and not doing 2 through 9 and missing out on that first one. So visualize what that's going to look like. Okay. Let's say saying, what do you want to accomplish? What is winning going to look like tomorrow? And what needs to be completed tomorrow to really make a difference? If it's hiring people, Teresa and I, we look at that all the time. Is it getting the ads out? Is it reviewing the ads? Is it follow up with those things that we look at? With agents, it's going to be looking at, all right, how do I get appointments? I need to follow up with people who missed an appointment before that I need to follow up back up with. Okay. What are FSBOs that just hit the market that I can reach out to? What changes have happened, for people that we're going to list that are not now, that are canceled or expired? What information are they needing from me for them to decide to work with me? Now, if I'm working on a class, I visualize completing it and what it's going to feel like to have it done. Because you always want to visualize what's that going to look like. If I need to hire someone, I visualize what the person may look like, act like, sound like, how the right person could change your organization. And when we bring people on, we just don't want anybody, if we're hiring somebody, we want to make certain they're a great fit for us too. But we have to visualize what that person is going to look like. Jolene gave me a great tip, and she would always tell me as far as, well, you need to kind of write it down as far as, are they, what age would they be? What would their characteristics be like? Are they smart? Do they have energy? those kind of things. And then with our listings, it's the same kind of thing as far as what am I looking for in taking a listing? Is it someone that's going to be that I want to work with? Is it also something where are they just, am I handling the objections and getting down to the true reason as far as why they want to sell? And do they have a big why to sell so I can help them? Or is it going to be something that's going to be frustrating? The other one is if you're negotiating a deal, visualize what winning is going to look like before you even make the call. What concessions I need to make, how to make it a win-win. What point will I walk away? And this is something I talk with my buyers and sellers about. So are you okay with not selling this because they want $1,000 in repairs and you got 5,000 more at asking price? And when you frame it in that way, it kind of puts them back in perspective. So again, just going through and seeing what's winning going to look like. If it's something that's going to be totally off the wall, and also what's that going to do is it's been under contract for a while and doesn't appraise, it misses it by a few $1,000s. Is that really going to benefit anyone by putting it back on the market now? If I have a problem, issue, or crisis, I visualize resolving it. And how am I going to move by it quickly? If I can't do that, how can I put it on the shelf and defer it to another time? And this part is really important too, because you have to realize you're not going to always resolve every problem, but you do have to have a game plan, a backup plan as far as, all right, what if I do need to push this back? Can I do an amendment to push back the inspection time frame? Because I won't have the inspector there in time that's going to inspect the chimney that's at sticking point, or there's a mold issue, or there's a radon possible issue that we need to check. So how do we resolve those quickly? So, but the first thing we have to do is we have to go through our calendar and do a cleanse on it, okay? And if you were to review your calendar for tomorrow, could you cancel, reschedule, reduce everything that is not important? And then what needs to be completed tomorrow that would make a difference? And Ben actually shared that he actually has Aaron go through his executive assistant and cancel half the things on his calendar each day. Because he says, something's come up and, some of the people are going, wait a minute, that happened to me. What are you trying to tell me? But it's one of those things that he does that. So he has the freedom to take care of those things that come up to handle the business. If you're totally booked on your calendar, then that's actually a detriment to your success. It could look like, man, I'm being really productive. Look at my calendar, it's full. But you need that time to adjust and also react to things that came up throughout the day too, to make a difference in it. So as far as getting your priority list for the next day, what you're going to do each night, you're going to do a brain dump of everything that you want to get accomplished. Then you're going to rank them and put them in order of most important. Then you're going to go through and cross out or delegate anything that you just cannot accomplish tomorrow. If you cannot accomplish it, then you may defer it till the next day. You also maybe have someone else do it, or you may have to just cancel it altogether. Is it really going to pay a dividend? So those are things that are going to be really important. Then once you get that done, is plan out your rituals too. And what those are is, you're going to go to dinner, lunch, you're going to have snacks during the day. You're going to want to read, you're going to want to connect with other people. And you're also going to need that quiet time or white time, where you can think as far as what's going on. So you need to schedule, when are you going to do that exercise routine? What are you doing, to bring your water in, to make certain that you stay hydrated throughout the day? What kind of snacks? Because if you don't bring a healthy snack, then we go down to the chocolate house that we have in the market center and we get our little chocolates and we snack on those, which isn't good. Or we'll sit there and say, well, they got donuts in the tech room, so I'll just have a donut today because I didn't bring my snacks. So it's always something that we want to focus in on and make certain that we got that. And if meals, well, I'll just stop by McDonald's and get a double quarter pounder or something, okay? Also, what are we doing to expand and grow? And that's lead or learn, read, and also listen to different things on our podcast, on our audiobooks. You could combine it with exercise time too, if it's attainable, and then just connect time. Now that connect time is when you're connecting with people to actually build those relationships. It could also be with clients you got, but that connect time is so vitally important. And then the last time is quiet time. Each time you have an appointment with someone, you need to schedule some quiet time because you're probably going to have some follow-up that you need to put down, or you're going to have some information that you need to put into Brivity about the conversation that you just completed. And if you don't put that down, you're going from appointment to appointment to appointment to appointment. You're missing out, and you're going to miss some key things that you should have put in for a follow-up call, a follow-up letter, a follow-up piece of information you told to get back to them. So you need to have that quiet time to put in there so that you can actually get that time caught back up again too. And then after you get those priorities done, you also take a look at planning out your rituals. Then you're going to schedule it, and then you're going to block it in 60-minute increments. Okay, you'll schedule your rituals and then also create your white space time. The biggest thing is make a mental commitment. You're going to follow the plan for just one day, and it's starting tomorrow. So tonight, on Thursday night, you're going to say, all right, what do I need to do to put a plan together so I'm going to be productive tomorrow? Because we're in September now, so we've really got September, October, November to get things under contract before we close. Because December, whatever you put under contract probably will not close at the end of the year. So we got 3 months of push to get whatever closed to make our goals for the year. But we need to start tonight as far as planning for tomorrow. And then if you want, send it to your team leader and say, hey, this is what I'm planning to do tomorrow. This is my commitment. That gives you a huge amount of accountability. And anytime we talk about our goals, ever notice how we accomplish them more often, because we always want to mirror what we say we're going to do. And when we say that out loud, then we're actually committing to it. So it makes a huge difference. And the last thing you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to sleep well, knowing you've got a plan in place tomorrow. You're not anxious about all the stuff you've got to do. You're not worried about that because you've got it all planned out. And you know that if you're not making it, you're going to be able to defer it, or you've got a plan as far as how to take care of it. So our morning launch is you're going to review your day plan, start the day with purpose and priority. Okay. And then you're just going to rinse and repeat. You're going to do the same thing the next day and the next day. And even on Friday night, what you're doing is you're planning out your Saturday. And it could be, quote, your day off with the family, but you can make that actually what we talk about. One of our values is an experiential life. Be very, very focused on the next day, how you're going to spend time with your son, your daughter. You're going to focus on them. What happened this week? Tell me about that. How did it go to recess? So they start to share with you. And there's nothing better than to get that interaction with them, because there's going to be other times when you're going to have to tell them, says, I can't talk with you right now because daddy's got this contract I got to get back over to him before midnight tonight. So you need to invest that time now and put those emotional deposits in. So when you make those emotional withdrawals, you've got a good bank of it and you've already got a great relationship. You don't want to get overdrawn in your emotional bank account. That's never going to be a good thing. So this right here is going to be recorded. And some people jumped on late, but I will have it up on Tennessee Power Up on YouTube for everybody. Also, I want to remind everybody, next week, we're going to have Kimberly Meserve on, and she does the great seminars that she was on Mega Camp for. I can't tell you how excited I am to have her on the Power Up. I mean, to have her and we're able to ask questions and really find out, you know, what did she do for buyer seminars, investor seminars, career nights. I mean, I'm really excited about that. Has anybody got anything to add before I sign off for today?
That's great. Thank you.
All right, guys. You guys have a great day. Make sure you go in and log the number of calls that you had on the 1,000 dial day. Okay. And if you need the link, check with your team leader. They'll get that to you. Okay. See y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.